Agent Burke Allen will tell you, who's here tonight. I tell stories. Like Paco, the cat who meowed in space. Or about the time I blew up my mom's rose garden fence. But tonight I'd like to make a more traditional talk in which I give thank yous to a lot of the people that have been so important in my life and have led to this night. So if you'll just bear with me, I'm going to list a number of people. Of course, as shown in that wonderful video, and thank you so much, Christian, who put this together, Heather and May, and all those who spoke on that. It's just wonderful. I'm blown away by it. But I do want to thank Ed Buckley, the first director of the Space and Rocket Center, who is mentioned in that video, is a fellow West Virginian, who let me design and supervise the construction and set up the training for our wonderful underwater astronaut trainer. And I'd also like to thank the first underwater astronaut trainer dive masters. And a few of them are here tonight. Bill Revelez is here, Cindy Walker, some of the folks that are not here, wish that could be, Carl Spurlock, Linda Terry, Brenda Bradford is here tonight, Tina McDonald is here tonight. She's also my attorney, but she's retired, so it's okay. Wes Hoop and Gardner, Lori Kegley, who is on the video, who is our UAT's first manager. She's in Grand Cayman tonight, so it's good for you, Lori. Even Dr. Deborah Barnhart was part of our team back then, before she became the CEO of the Space and Rocket Center. But we were charged with trying to figure out how to take teenagers, some of whom who had never even snorkeled before, down to a depth of 25 feet within 2 hours. And we pioneered that, how to do that, and to do it safely, and to teach them a little bit about neutral buoyancy simulation of microgravity in space. And the UAT team came through, and they have ever since. I'd also like to thank my NASA mentors and colleagues. Tony O'Neill, who's here tonight, with his lovely wife Cosette. Tony I met Tony first in the Space Lab program office when I first started working for NASA back in 1981. And Tony kind of took me under his wing and taught me how to be a NASA engineer. Al English is here tonight. Al and I worked in the neutral buoyancy simulator together and across a number of programs. Teacher Carol, his wife, is here, and also sister-in-law Margaret, who's a National Park Service ranger. So thank you, Margaret, for coming all the way out from Wyoming for this. I really appreciate it. Some other of my mentors, John Thomas, Jerry Richardson, Chuck Lewis. Chuck Lewis formed, Chuck and Deborah Underwood formed the training branch that we had to figure out for the first time how to train scientists that were going to go into space and operate scientific payloads on the Space Lab. It was not easy. Some of my other training managers at that time who joined me, and we were a happy crew. We were brothers and sisters, such as Ken Smith, Patty Moore, Kimberly Robinson, Alice Glorious, Carol McLemore, Julie Sanchez, Angie Johnston, and all of our wonderful Teledyne Brown contractors as well. I've had the privilege of working with a number of astronauts across the years, and I could just name a few of them that have been very important in my life. Kathy Sullivan, Bruce McCandless, Lori Musgrave, Bonnie Dunbar, Hoop Gibson, who actually rescued my career in 1992. I'm sure he's forgotten about that. For your young people, for context, 1992, the Civil War just really did Ella Hanuzuka, Krista McAuliffe, Jerry Ross, Miss Baker. Yes, Ed Buckley let me clean Miss Baker's cage for a week. I actually had this fantasy about Miss Baker. I was going to break her out and carry her to Isla de Glenada and let her go. Instead, I took a human female. I'm not quite sure what was the best plan there. But Jan Davis, Mae Jemison, Mark Lee, Pinky Nelson, Sonny Carter, Eileen Collins, my wonderful Japanese astronauts that I was privileged to train on Space Lab J, Mamoru Mori, Takao Doi, who actually carried the National Space Council medal that I won, the National Science Fair, medal that I won back in 1960 into space. Thank you, Takao. And of course, more recently, Jared, Isaac, and the wonderful Inspiration 4 crew that I got to meet. And for our space camp, again, I'm going to unfortunately probably leave a few people out, and I regret that, but our space camp friends that I've worked with and my mentors, there are just so many. Robin Soprano, who heads up Space Camp, Dr. Kay Taylor, our education head, Dr. Kimberly Robinson, our CEO, our foundation head, Brenda Carr, and we also have, of course, our Space and Rocket Center Commission members here, such as General Jim Rogers, our chair. The neat thing about being on this commission is that we may argue sometimes and disagree, but we all agree on this one thing. We are trying our very best to make the Space and Rocket Center and Space Camp to be the best it can be. Heather Roden, who heads up taking care of our teachers every summer, and I get an opportunity to work with Heather and go out and talk to the teachers. And on the personal side, tonight, Kelly Arnold and Justin Eicherman here. They're my next door neighbors. I recently had a bout that required me to go on chemotherapy, and they looked after me. And also always on call was Dr. Pat Wilson and her husband Dave, who's here tonight, and also my daughter Amy Bandis is here, always on call and looking out for me. And finally, I'd like to dedicate this award to my mom and dad in heaven, and Miss Riley, my teacher in heaven, who spurred me on to greater heights, and to the people of Coldwood, West Virginia, who raised me, and of course the Rocket Boys, Roy Lee Cook, Odell Carroll, Sherman Sears, Quentin Wilson, and Billy Rickles. And finally, again, to Joe Johnston, the director, and the actor Jake Gyllenhaal, who played me in October Sky to such perfection, it has inspired millions of people around the world to this day. And I have no doubt that Jake will someday stand in front of the Motion Picture Academy of Arts and Scientists and accept a gold statuette named Oscar. But even then, he will not be as privileged as I am tonight. Because not only did I get inducted into the Space Camp Hall of Fame, but I also got to be